On this episode, we sit down with Sam Ormond, an Australian woman married to a Thai man, to discuss intercultural relationships.
So if you're curious about the sometimes lopsided status quo of Farang Thai connections in Thailand, you'll love this episode of the Bangkok Podcast.
Sawadee Kab there, and welcome to the Bangkok Podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian who came to Thailand in 2001 because I couldn't handle my humiliating second place finish in the Mr. Lumberjack contest and decided to stay here.
I can relate.
Yeah.
And I met Knuth, an American who came to Thailand on a one-year teaching contract 19 years ago, fell in love with the capricious dissolution of Thai political parties, and I've never left. We want to say a quick thank you to one of our patrons, Wesley Constantinu. Hopefully I didn't mangle your name too bad, Wesley.
Constantino?
Yeah, something like that. Who supports us at the show shout-out level. Stick around after we're done talking about intercultural relationships with an Australian woman married to a Thai man, to hear why Wesley and Greg probably end up fighting over pizza, and why Greg will most likely end up severely injured or dead.
Yeah.
Before we start the show, a huge thanks to all of our patrons who support the show. Patrons get a whole bunch of cool stuff, including our regular show a day early, behind-the-scenes photos and videos of our interviews, discounts on swag, which you can find on our website, and various other things that aren't available to regular listeners. But best of all, patrons also get an unscripted, uncensored bonus episode every week where we riff on current events and random topics. We just finished recording this week's bonus show, and we chatted about how some very predictable problems are somehow never solved in Thailand. A surprisingly positive, but probably temporary, legal decision on Thai politics, as well as a recently infamous sex video filmed in Bangkok, which Greg reviews. Remember, the bonus show is uncensored after all.
That's right.
To become a patron, head to bangkokpodcast.com/support. It
was a difficult thing to review, that little video. I had to step out of my comfort zone, but I did it. I did it for the good of the podcast.
Excellent. Thank you, Greg. Yeah. We appreciate that.
All right. Well, on this episode, we have an interesting discussion with my friend Sam, an Australian woman married to a Thai man. Now, the idea for the show was born out of our two-part series in episodes 64 and 65 of Season 3, in which we interviewed a few female foreigners on their experiences dating in Bangkok. Now, those conversations made us realize that there were actually lots of different facets about the intercultural relationship situation in Thailand, and here we are. So while I wouldn't call Farang female and Thai male relationships rare in Thailand, I wouldn't call them common either, and I wanted to get some more insight into this, so I called up Sam and asked her if she'd like to chat, and this is our conversation. All right, well, I'm sitting down here in a little corner of a quiet, hopefully quietish cafe in a shopping mall. It seems to do a lot of interviews in shopping malls these days, but it's just so damn convenient. I'm sitting here with my friend Sam Ormond, who has agreed to come on the show because we only met recently, and we got to talking about something, and I thought it would be a really interesting thing to talk about on the podcast. So, Sam, welcome to the Bangkok Podcast.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So the reason that I wanted to get you on the show is something I've been wanting to have a guest like this on to talk about this for a long time, but it's hard to find someone just in general who A, speaks English, B, wants to talk about something cool, and C, wants to do it publicly. So it's when you agreed to do it, I was like, yeah. So this might not sound like a lot right off the bat, but you are a Farang lady married to a Thai guy.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just such a cliche thing for a Farang guy like myself to be married to a Thai woman like my wife. There's hours and hours and hours and hours of video delving into this topic and blogs and books and stuff like that. But I think the reverse of that, the intercultural relationship with a foreign woman and a Thai man, doesn't get a lot of play. It doesn't get discussed a lot.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I thought it would be really interesting to talk about. So can you just bring us up to speed? How did you get to Thailand, and how long have you been here, and how did you and your man meet?
Yeah, so it's a long story, but basically we met nearly 20 years ago. So that was the year 2000, and I came to Thailand on a holiday. I was working in Japan beforehand, and I decided to come to Thailand with some friends of mine, and just for a vacation. And we decided to go to Koh Chang.
Yeah.
We just chose that, thought it would be nice by the beach. And while I was on Koh Chang, I met my husband. And I didn't know it at the time, obviously.
Did you hit a volleyball and it landed next to you on the beach or something like
No,
that?
I was trying to think of when exactly did we meet. And I just remember we met on the beach. I mean, he was working at the resort that I was staying at.
Yeah.
He was like a bartender there. This is during his university holidays. So we met there, and I just remember him being up in a tree one day, just sort of chilling out in the tree, and thought, yeah, he looked pretty cool.
Sure,
and
it wasn't a monkey.
Yeah, well, exactly. He looked pretty cool, and he seemed pretty keen to chat in English as well too. He was studying English at university, and sort of realized that what he was learning at university wasn't very useful.
Okay.
So the best way for him to practice was going to be, working with foreigners for a while. So we met there and just sort of almost fell in love straight away, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very cheesy, but that's what happened.
So you came here on a vacation and met a guy and decided to stay.
Roughly. I was here for a couple of weeks vacation, and then went back to Australia for what turned out to be almost a year. I was sort of working over there, getting some more money to come back here.
Yeah.
Had a couple of vacations. I came back to see, okay, is this for real?
Right.
Should I just
You gotta
upend my
kick the
life
tires before you buy, right?
Exactly. So before I come back and live. But yeah, that's how it happened.
That's really interesting, and it's great. So when you said you're going to move to Thailand because I met this dude, what did your family think?
Look, my family's great. They're super supportive, and I had previously told them a couple of years before that, hey, I'm moving to Japan, and I think they got used to that.
Okay.
But by the time I got back to Australia, I think my mum probably wanted me to stay a little bit longer. But yeah, they were really supportive, and they came over not long after I moved here, maybe a year or so, and met my husband, which was great.
Right.
So they got to know him and just, fell in love with him straight away too. So
Cool.
Yep.
So when you were moving here and when you decided to get married, did you know that it was slightly unusual for a Farang woman to be married to a Thai man? And how did you learn that, and what was your sort of impressions going in?
Look, I think coming from Japan beforehand, where it was sort of, you did see some foreign law, like gaijin women with Japanese guys, which again maybe isn't so common, but
Right.
to me it didn't seem so strange. But yeah, not seeing many other women at all who were foreigners like I am with Thai guys, you're just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna stand out a little bit, and all right, that's okay.
This wasn't that big of a deal, right?
Yeah, it wasn't
Okay.
a big deal. Yeah.
Cool. And what was his thoughts on this? How did he find it strange, or did his friends or family find it unusual?
No. For my husband, no. For him, it was like, oh, yeah, okay. My girlfriend's just Australian. Although when I met his parents for the first time, that was interesting. Because we went to visit them they're from Isan.
Okay.
So we went up there to visit them in the northeastern region. And he neglected to tell his parents that I was a foreigner. Yeah, he just
Oh my God.
he just told them, oh, I'm bringing my girlfriend to visit. So
Well, first of all, I think that's how it should be anyway.
Yeah,
it shouldn't really matter.
yeah, exactly.
But it does. It's a thing.
Yep.
Fairly or unfairly, but
Yeah,
that's very funny.
But they were very cool about it. We just rocked up at their place, and I'm like, oh, Sawadika in my best Thai at the time. And they were great. I mean, they were really great. They were really nice and really friendly and supportive. Yeah.
Reminds me of that Seinfeld episode where Jerry is dating a woman named Donna Chang.
Oh, yeah.
Who's a white woman.
Yeah.
And he tells his parents, and their parents are really excited to meet a Chinese woman.
Yep.
And then they meet her, and they're really disappointed because they wanted to meet a Chinese woman. Oh, that's funny. Now, I'm going to delve into a bit of a sensitive topic here, but generally when a guy marries a Thai girl or meets a Thai girl or says, I'm going to Thailand on a vacation to his buddies back home, they're like, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Thailand has a reputation, again, unfairly or fairly. And it's kind of a stereotype that a Farang man in Thailand is going to either to be involved with or see or touch at some point sort of prostitution and the darker side of things.
Right.
When you talk about going to meet a Thai girl in Thailand. Do you know of any similar stereotypes about Thai men?
I don't know that there are that many. I mean, I think the stereotypes that some people have here is that, maybe some Thai men are kind of butterflies. They like to have a few girlfriends.
Yeah.
Maybe drinking or gambling problems. But, I've got to say that my husband and a lot of the Thai guys that I know, they're not like that at all. I mean, in terms of all of that, whether they're not having multiple girlfriends and not out every night gambling and drinking and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really dangerous to start painting everyone with these brushes because I know a lot of people I know a lot of Thai women who do not fit the mold of the typical Asian woman. They're bold and successful and independent and free-spirited, and they absolutely don't fit into this little cubicle.
Absolutely.
And I got to say, I find myself thinking that a lot of times too. I catch myself, and it's not right that I do it, but I can't help it. That I've been here almost 20 years, and I have no male Thai friends.
Oh, really?
A couple of acquaintances, guys that I don't mind hanging out with if our wives happen to be hanging out or something like that. But no one I would call and say, hey, man, let's go out this weekend.
Really? That's interesting. Is there any reason for that, do you think? Or
wow, this is okay. This is a version. Welcome to this portion of the show we call Psychoanalyze, Greg. No, I think it's a lot of it is my fault. I just don't make the effort to get out and meet people as much as I used to. But even when I did, I mostly hang out with foreigners and just in the social events I'm at. And I'm not a big titty bar guy. I'm not a big red light district. That's not my thing. But it just so happens that over the years at the social events I was at, the people I knew, the parties I went to, I just got to know a lot of women, Thai women, more than Thai men. Just was never many Thai dudes around. And I don't know why.
Yeah. But that's a shame. You're missing out.
I think I am. I am. Maybe me and your husband can become friends.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a pretty friendly guy.
Cool. This is like a blind friend date. But it is interesting to me. But it's a big part of it is just my own lack of motivation to get out there and meet guys like that. And I don't know why. But I do have that stereotype sometimes, and I catch myself falling into it with a lot of Thai guys that I've met. Have many girlfriends, like to get drunk a lot, like to do stupid, immature things that I'm not interested in.
I wonder if that's would that be younger guys? I mean, my husband's sort of 40-ish. At the moment, we've been together for a long time. I mean, maybe sure when people are younger, they're like, yeah, of course you would go out a lot more, but I don't know.
I'm sure that once they even out and get old like I am, then probably it doesn't play such a big role. But also, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we could go around in circles for this, but also a lot of the really nice Thai guys that I've met through my wife, they don't speak English very well.
Right.
So we could probably go, unpack this question for hours. But yeah, I don't have a lot of Thai male friends. I wish I did.
Yep.
But I'm glad to hear that your husband and all of his friends are.
Yeah, they're great.
Cool.
They're great. Yeah, I'll have to introduce you.
Yes, I would love to. I sound stupid, like, oh, they exist. Of course they exist, but I've never met a lot of them in my life.
Oh, but different circles. I mean, I understand that.
So let's talk a little bit. I remember you when we first met, you were telling me a story that I thought was fascinating. And when your husband ordained as a monk, as many Thai men are expected to do, you had to get, quote unquote, divorced And remarried?
Well, not divorced, but we had to get married again after he finished being in the monkhood.
What's up with that?
Yeah, that was something I didn't know about either. That was a surprise to me. So normally Thai men would probably ordain as a monk before they get married. Like they're probably around maybe 22 to 25 years old. That's the normal sort of process.
Right.
But for my husband, who likes to always do things a little bit differently, he was about 35 or so when he decided to ordain as a monk. And because he's going into the monkhood, he recited whatever you need to do, recite the prayers and everything, shave his head, wear the orange robes as a monk. I mean, for all intents and purposes, he was a monk for about a month. And after that finished, when I was finally allowed to meet him again, because when he was a monk, we're not allowed to talk or touch or anything because I'm a woman, and monks are not allowed to touch women in any way, and that meant we couldn't text message, we couldn't message each other.
Really?
Yeah. So when he was a monk, any message I wanted to send, I had to send through a male friend to tell him. Yeah.
What?
So pretty much for the 3 weeks or so that he was a monk, I didn't have any contact. So when he came out of the monkhood, his first message was, okay, it's going to be great to see you. And by the way, we need to get married again. And I'm like, I don't really have any clothes to get married in. What do you mean? And he's like, no, it's just just a process that I think maybe his aunt was going to bless us and, wrap the white strings around our wrists just to make us be married again, I guess.
Wow, that's interesting.
So I've gotten married twice to the same man without getting divorced.
That's cool.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah.
That'd make a pretty interesting T-shirt, I think.
Yeah.
I've been married twice, but divorced no times. Figure that out.
Exactly. Yep.
Now, I think from what I've read, the Thai legal system treats a Farang woman with a Thai man differently than a Farang man with a Thai woman.
Yeah, I think so.
In terms of citizenship, marriages, visas and stuff. Do you have any experience with that?
Not a lot, just with getting married and then, with a non-O visa situation. I don't have citizenship. That might be something I might look into for the future. But yeah, getting married was kind of fun because all the paperwork is set out for a foreign man to marry a Thai woman.
Really?
So they literally did not have any paperwork at that time that had a foreign wife. They just had to cross out all the references to foreign husband. I don't know how legal this document is, but yeah. And then in terms of maybe a visa renewal thing, I mean, I don't know exactly, but with men, I think you have to have a certain amount of money or you have to show money to an extension or something like that. But for women, you don't have to do that.
For a visa or?
Yeah, a extension of stay, like that.
Oh,
that
really?
One. Yeah.
And you don't have to do that? Interesting.
No. So, yeah, I guess it's a little bit different.
So, in fact, the whole foreign woman with a Thai man thing is so rare. You're also saying that a lot of people didn't believe you when you told them, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I'd go out with my husband, this is early on, so this is back in 2001, 2002.
Right.
Anytime we'd go somewhere, travel somewhere, go to a restaurant, people would just speak in English because they just assumed he was Japanese or, maybe from Singapore or Hong Kong or something.
Right.
And couldn't quite fathom that
really?
He was Thai. Yeah.
So it's such a strange thing to see that they're like, well, this is not.
Early on. I think nowadays, I think it's pretty different. I think there are more and more women that I do see, foreign women, with Thai men.
Yeah.
So it's a little more normal, I guess. And for me, it's completely normal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I think it's changing too. I think it's over the nearly 2 decades that we've been here. You got here a few months after I did.
Yep.
In 2001. It's definitely become a much more cosmopolitan city and a much more cosmopolitan society, and you're seeing a lot of things that used to open eyes are now like, oh yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I think it's great. I think it's great. It's kind of nice to just go about your day just completely normally and not stand out too much.
Right.
Yeah.
I always remember a story about my friend who was Chinese Canadian. She was born in Canada, but her parents were from China, she came to work in Thailand for a year, and we would go out shopping or at a restaurant or something like that, and the staff or someone would talk to her in Thai, and then she would say, "I don't know what you're talking about," in English, and then I would speak in Thai.
Yep.
And because they would think she was Thai, and it would completely confuse everyone because there was just like a total disconnect with what they expected, because everyone has these expectations about what will happen when I do X, and then there's like, no, that's not what's happening. What's going on? How do I react?
Well, I had a similar thing when we went to Japan, because I study Japanese and I speak Japanese pretty well.
Oh, right.
So when we traveled in Japan, my husband kind of looks a bit Japanese.
Okay.
So people would speak to him in Japanese. He's not replying. And then I would speak back to them. And I'm sure they thought, like, what a rude guy. Like, why is he getting his wife to talk for him?
Boy, that guy is tamed.
No, I had to teach him how to say I'm Thai in Japanese. So
How do you say that in Japanese?
Watashi wa Thai-jin desu.
Ah.
Like I said, to emphasize that I think it's getting to be more and more sort of popular. But maybe it's just sort of like wider issues, I guess, of you don't see much representation even in movies or TV shows where you have like a foreign woman and a Thai guy.
Right.
I mean, the only example I could think of was The Walking Dead with what's his name, Glenn and
the
Maggie.
Asian guy.
Yeah. Like there's very few movies and
Right.
TV shows that have that.
It's interesting, like especially with the Crazy Rich Asians, which was a huge hit last year.
I didn't see it.
Oh, it's pretty good as
Okay.
rom-coms go. And then there was that Netflix movie, with Ali Wong and Randall Park.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one.
That was good.
I forgot what it's called.
With Keanu Reeves.
Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So it seems that Asians are now sort of experiencing a bit of a sort of a normalization. Their pop culture is being expanded. They're appearing a lot more in a lot of different pop culture, which is...
Yeah, and why not? Yeah, maybe more reflective of society in general.
I think so. Yeah. So obviously you're living in Thailand, and you need to adapt to Thai culture at a certain level. But what Western cultural traits or instances or things has your husband sort of had to adjust to or learned about or taken to?
I think a couple things. I think the first is the Aussie accent. I mean, to be honest, like Australian English is pretty hard for a lot of Thai speakers to understand. So he's great now. I mean, he's down with all the Aussie lingo with his tracky dacks and, that's all right.
Do you say Macca's for McDonald's?
Macca's, but I'm vegetarian, so I'm not eating at Macca's very often. And things like Aussie football. I mean, he's a big fan of my football team now as well too, which is great.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. And it's funny, it's just something that just came into my mind is that Thais have nicknames, but Australians give nicknames to everything and everyone.
Oh, yeah.
What's his nickname?
No, his is the same.
Same? Okay. It's not,
It's the
it's not like
same.
some...
No.
Like you didn't say his Thai nickname. They're like, that won't do. You got to give him another nickname.
It has to be like Wazza or Shazza or something.
Yeah. Wizza.
Yeah.
What would be my nickname in Australia? I'm Greg.
No, I don't know.
Gregors?
Gregors? Yeah, Gregors would probably work. Yeah.
God.
No, you'd probably be called Shorty or something, maybe.
Shorty, yeah. Slim. Like that. Hairy.
Yeah.
So you got married in Thailand in a Thai ceremony?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And how was that? Was it?
It was amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was probably the best experience of my life. I mean, I didn't know what I was in for. I don't think my husband knew what he was in for. And all of my family who traveled from Australia certainly didn't know what they were in for.
Right.
But they had a great time. It was fantastic. It was this, as you would know, sort of very big, elaborate ceremony. This is in his hometown in Buriram. And so we bussed everybody out there, all of my friends and family, about 60 people, I think 60 Australians, and some people came from Japan and other places too.
Was there a dowry situation?
Yeah. So as is tradition for many weddings, the man would give a dowry to the bride and her family, and that can be in the form of cash, jewelry, things like that.
Yeah.
So yes, there was a dowry for our wedding. Again, like gold jewelry. A pile of cash. Right. So that was kind of funny to
he gave it to
that.
you.
Yeah, so his family sort of giving that to me. Right. So, but at the end of the ceremony, you kind of
You just
share that amongst everybody. Yeah.
Have some of this. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And another part of the ceremony was they have a parade along the street.
Right. I did that in my ceremony.
Yeah.
And I had to scream songs, and my
Yep.
friends had to carry banana plants and coconuts
Yes.
and stuff.
My friend still says to this day, this is 13 years ago, that she had to carry a chicken on a plate. And she thought that was hilarious. So, but I didn't get to see any of it. I have to hide inside. I'm hiding and then waiting for him to come.
Sure. Yeah.
And he has to pass you have like a gold necklace or something that you have to get through the barrier. But I'm hiding inside. I didn't get to see any of this.
So you didn't get to see your own
No,
wedding?
I didn't get to see it. Yeah. So
that's
someone videoed it, thank goodness, so I
Right.
could see it afterwards. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's cool. Well, Sam, thanks so much for coming on the show. It seems, I don't know, to me it seems like both a really interesting topic and something that shouldn't be interesting. Like, it's just two people who are in a
Exactly.
relationship. But in terms of where we live and learning about cultures, I think there's a lot there that is really fascinating to me, and just it's something that you don't see a lot with a Farang woman and a Thai man. It's interesting to see that some things are reversed, like the wedding documents for scribbling out
Yep.
Mr. and Mrs. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
sure of the legality of that one, but
Well, I'm sure it's fine.
yeah.
As long as money was exchanged in Thailand, it's
Exactly.
becomes legal. But thanks for coming on the show and talking. It was really interesting.
Thanks,
And,
it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to having a beer with your buddy, your husband.
Absolutely.
And he'll be my new friend, and we can start going out, and maybe he can introduce me to Aussie rules or something
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely. And if you want to run a marathon, he's the person to talk to too.
Let's start with the beer first.
Yeah.
We'll work our way up to that.
All
All right.
right.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, I got to say, man, I appreciate a positive intercultural dating story, because, in general, the stories you tend to hear are what a wasteland Thailand is for Farang women. So more power to her. I think it's a great story, and I'm glad she's in a great relationship.
Yeah, it was really cool sitting down with her. Thanks a lot, Sam. It was nice to talk to you, and some really good insights there. And we have some more interviews coming up in the future with other aspects of dating in Thailand. We're going to sit down with some of my Thai female friends and talk to them about what it's like, because they date both foreigners and Thais, and there's a lot to unpack here. So we're going to keep on it going forward. It's interesting,
For sure. It's interesting, the idea of Western women dating Thai men. The bottom line is, it is a lot more rare than Western men dating Thai women. And, so I don't know what counts as rare, but it is a little bit unusual, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I know probably 3 or 4 Farang lady Thai man couples, but when you meet a Farang woman and she says, "Oh yeah, my husband Somchai over here," you're like, "Oh, you're married to a Thai." Like, it's
Right.
not weird, but it's enough to go, "Oh, okay, that's cool."
Yeah. Now, one thing I'm curious about is, it's possible that those relationships have a higher success rate. Because the bottom line is, like, you and I have just known, Western guys who've dated many Thai women, or it's just like, in general, the joke is, it's like when your buddy introduces you to his Thai girlfriend, it's like you don't even want to know her name until until 3 months. It's like
That would be interesting. I wonder what the math is on the statistical deviation.
I wonder, so even though the Western woman Thai man thing might be more rare, they might just have a higher success rate and be more stable for some reason.
Right. Yeah. Well, anyway, it's just basically my little, since I'm married, it's my little way of living vicariously through others. So tell me what it's like to be in dating,
No, it's a cool issue, and we're definitely going to do more shows on it. So, listeners, we got more dating stuff coming up.
True that. All right, let's get into some love, loathe, or live with, where one of us picks a particular aspect of life in Bangkok, which we then discuss and decide if it's something we love about living here, loathe about living here, or have come to accept it as something that we just have to learn to live with, no matter how we feel about it. And this week it's my turn.
All right.
I got a simple one for you. Now, this one isn't specifically Thai, but it's something that we all have to deal with at a certain time of year if you live in Thailand, especially in Bangkok. And this is Chinese opera. It's Chinese New Year right now. A lot of streets, especially down in Yaowarat, a lot of shopping malls around town will have Chinese cultural celebrations and like performances, and a lot of these center around specifically Chinese opera.
Yeah,
what do you think about Chinese
to be honest, I don't really even know what Chinese opera is, but I know what you're talking about. I know like the shows. You know, these are kind of like they seem to be impromptu public performances, but obviously they're not totally impromptu. Like they're planned out. But it's like in my case, it's like I'll be going somewhere and like the streets are blocked because there's some performance in the streets, and I can see that it's Chinese. You know, so I don't really know anything about it. You know, okay, I'm going to be honest here, brutally honest. It's the kind of thing that if I heard or read about these things before I moved here, I would have thought, wow, that's really cool. Like I'd love to check that out. I'd love to learn more about that. You know, I want to learn about you know Chinese culture or Thai culture. But the simple truth is, I'm usually just annoyed by it because it usually like blocks the street. You know, it like blocks the street, or I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. So maybe I'm just admitting my own shortcoming. But I guess I wouldn't say loathe. I probably would have to go live with. But it's the kind of thing that I wish I was more curious about, but I'm really not. To be honest, I'm not.
Yeah, I agree. And first of all, before we get into it, Chinese people, the civilization, the culture is thousands of years old, and China and Chinese people should be proud of it. It's really complex and deep and meaningful and important, but
not to us. But apparently not to us.
Dude, I do not get Chinese opera, man. It just sounds like a lot of crazy noise. It's like the jazz of Asian music. It just sounds like a bunch of uncoordinated people banging gongs together and screaming about something. And I'm sure there's a depth to it that I do not understand, and I never will. And that's great. But for me, I'm gonna say a solid live with. But let's just say if I come around a corner and there's a Chinese opera going on, I walk the other way.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. You know, even the Chinese dragon thing, which you see a lot at New Year's, even that, which is just kind of cool on first blush. You're like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's like a giant dragon snake thing in the street. Even that, it's cool for about 10 seconds.
Right. It's just too noisy for me. The visuals are great. The visuals are beautiful, but
you're like, oh, that's really cool. But then invariably it means the street is blocked and you can barely walk. And
someone's going to start throwing firecrackers soon. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah. But I'll confess that I wish I was more into it.
Yeah, me too. But I ain't. So
right. To be honest, it's a little bit like Thai country music, like Luke Tung, and I know we've talked about Luke Tung before.
Right.
But Thai country music, I just can't get into. I just don't really like how it sounds. I wish I did. I know it's deep in terms of like, it's very old, and there's a lot of complexity to the lyrics, and I do have Farang friends who are into Thai country music. I just don't get it, and don't like it.
I think if you're into it, more power to you, but it ain't for me.
Yep. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. So we agree once again. All right. So as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we'd like to say thank you to Wesley Constantino for lending us his support. And Greg, what did you find out about Wes?
Well, as it turns out, Wes, I sent him a message and we had a couple of good conversations back and forth. Seems like a nice dude. He's a Canadian, so of course he's friendly and handsome.
Of course.
All that stuff. Of course. And he sent me a quick message, and it says here, I said, what can you tell us about you, Wes? And he wrote back and he said, the best pizza I've had in Bangkok was at Pizza Mania, which
I love Pizza Mania. I love Pizza Mania.
It's got to be Pizza Pala.
I know you're a Pizza Pala guy.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know this about me, Ed, but it's pretty clear if you see the shape of my body, I take pizza pretty seriously.
No doubt. I think I would agree with that.
And Wes, I dig it, man. Pizza Mania is good. It's good. But I'll be damned if I let someone say that it's better than Pizza Pala, my favorite pizza place. So I think if Wes ever comes back to Bangkok and we get out and we have a few beers and we start talking, I'm a little bit scared it might come to blows over who has the best pizza in Bangkok. And normally this wouldn't bother me because I'm a pretty big guy. But then the rest of Wes's message read, I once walked to work in minus 67 degrees Celsius. I'm retired Canadian Armed Forces and retired federal security officer. So I have lots of interesting stories off the podcast.
Wow.
So So I would probably do my best to defend my favorite pizza place in Bangkok, but I'm assuming I would get my ass handily kicked.
You would get smashed, yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe Wes would bring me some pizza mania while I'm recovering in the hospital.
Well, it's funny. I think Bangkok's got a lot of good pizza. I'm a big fan of Pizza Mania, so I'm kind of on his side. Is it the best? I'm not sure. It's like I'm not sure I've ever decided which one I like the best. I think there's a lot of good pizza in it. Like Pizza Paolo, I love. I love
There's a lot of good stuff.
I love Bella Napoli. There's just a lot of good pizza, but I'm definitely down with Pizza Mania. No doubt about that.
All right. Well, maybe we can all go out together when Wes is in town, and we can do a blind taste test or something like that. Well, maybe we'll make it a live podcast show. Who knows? That'll be fun. And Wes also lives in Victoria, which is my hometown from when I was a kid, and that's where Tony lives too, Tony Joe. So.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Victoria connection. Thanks, Wes. We appreciate your support, man. And do not go outside if it's minus 67 degrees. That is not smart.
Yes, right.
Even though you sound pretty tough, so you could probably handle it more than I could.
Yeah. Thank you, Wes. All right, a final thanks to our patrons who help keep the show ad-free. Patrons get a ton of cool perks and the warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that they're helping support the show. Find out more by clicking support on our website. And connect with us online. We're Bangkok Podcast on social media, bangkokpodcast.com on the web, or simply bangkokpodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners and always reply to our messages.
True that. You can also listen to each episode on YouTube, chat with us online, or even reach out to me directly on Twitter, where I am BKK Greg. So thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you back here next week.
For sure.
I got this little bottle of throat medicine here from when I was sick a while ago called Camilo-san. And I still keep it here because it's kind of good. It's got a minty kick to it, even though I'm not sick.
What's it called?
Camilo-san.
Camilo-san.
It's like chamomile, peppermint, sage oil, anise, pine needle oil, bergamot, eucalyptol, menthol. It doesn't sound very good, but it tastes all right.
Damn. Pretty complex formula.
Yeah. Lets me keep my podcasting voice on.
That's right.
Know what I'm talking about? All right.